Beyond the skies, you and I, we're breaking bounds on Baobab.
Thank you for joining today. And you guys were very punctual. I appreciate that. I will just share my screen so that we can get started. I see we are joining from different places all over Africa, which is so good. I love the diversity in the room. My name is Primerose Katena, and I'm based in Ghana. I will be talking about how to ship stuff from China and earn extra income. And this event, as you already know, is powered by Baobab and Social Consulting. I'm a co-founder of Social Consulting, where I teach people how to ship stuff from China and then bring them, to Africa in different countries. I started this because it's something that, I was struggling with, and I went through a lot of different challenges. Then I had to learn, I had to pay people to do this, but even the kind of knowledge that I was getting wasn't worth it. So I had to do a lot of research on my own to be able to get to where I am. So for the past 3 years, I've been teaching myself and also shipping stuff for companies and for myself as well, and teaching other people how to ship stuff from China. A little bit about me: I was a co-founder at Tendo Technologies, and now I work as a project manager as well at a tech company. Okay, so I'll just dive right into it. And then first of all, when you're shipping stuff from China, I've realized that this is the best formula that works. You need a reliable supplier, a reliable shipping agent that helps you to get a perfect China import. So the main thing that you have to do when you're shipping is source and be able to bring those goods from China to wherever the destination that you're sending those goods or where you are based in. Now, there are so many platforms that people use when they're buying stuff from China. We have Alibaba, people use WeChat, it's like a WhatsApp, but people also do business there. There's Taobao and all these other places that people get products. And 1688 as well. I will just talk a little bit about Alibaba and 1688. Now, this is how 1688 looks like. Most people, when you ask them, I want to ship stuff from China, they tell you about, use 1688. But the challenge with that is that you have to deal with the language. 1688 is a wholesale platform that is meant for people it's for Chinese basically. So that's why it's in the local language. It's for the locals, it's not for international people. So most times, when you are using this platform, you have to get a Google Translate app or any other translating app to be able to understand this, which I don't think if you're doing business on a large scale, you want this. It's quite hectic because you're speaking with people that have no idea what you're saying and you're relying on translating. So I tried this and I realized that it's just difficult, and it's even hard to do a lot of background check about the supplier you're working with. You don't have a trade assurance, which we'll talk about later. And also, you also suffer high risk. If things don't go well, people get scammed as well. But it's one of the largest platforms that people use to get stuff. But for me, I use Alibaba. I've found Alibaba to be able to give me all these things without having to struggle. So in all these platforms, people get scammed, but you just need to know what to do to be able to find reliable suppliers. And that's what we are going to be talking about today. So for the questions, I will look at them. If you have any question at any point, just drop them. I will look at them at the end of the session, and then we can just address all the questions. So here is how Alibaba looks like. With Alibaba, if you don't know, you'll find things that are expensive. But if you dig deep, you'll find suppliers that equally sell high quality goods at a very affordable price. And the prices are equally the same with what's on 1688, because some people go there because they think the prices are cheaper. But from research, I've realized sometimes the prices are actually just the same. So Alibaba is a wholesale platform. AliExpress, some people know it is usually like for retail purposes, but Alibaba, it's for wholesale. As you can see, if you look at this, I took this from Alibaba page. They always have the number of pieces you have to buy, which we call minimum order quantity, MOQ. So this is how it looks like. And it's in English, so it makes your life easy. You don't have to struggle. The suppliers that you are working with, they understand. So even if you write in English and the supplier doesn't understand, Alibaba is built in such a way that it can also just translate for them. So there's easy communication. And it's easy to do reference checks it's easy to do reference checks on the people that are on the platform, the suppliers. So that's the good thing about it. Now, if you look at, there's a platform called Trustpilot. So it's a platform that you can compare, which websites are legit and which ones are not. And if you check there, you can see that a lot of people, about 21,000 people, have actually rated Alibaba to be great and reliable and verified. And if you check other platforms on this side, you realize that they have really poor reviews. A lot of people, if you go and read, they have had terrible experiences there. So why we choose to teach Alibaba over the rest? I think for me, it's trust. I trust the platform more than any other platforms. It's the money that you have worked hard for. You wouldn't want to just waste it on things that there's high risk. You can do reference checks. We talked about the language. The prices are also equally affordable. And they have, suppliers from different places as well. So let's get into it. So the first thing you do if you want to ship from China, you need to, or for using Alibaba, you need to first of all download the app on Play Store or Google Play Store, App Store or Google Play Store. Sorry about that. And then once you download that, you get access to a lot of goods. And the first thing you probably see at the top of your page, you will see that there's a way you can explore products either on the product cut as products or as manufacturers. And I always recommend that you work with the manufacturer side. So you select the manufacturer, and then you can see a lot of manufacturers with different products. But on the product side, they mix traders, they put different people that are not manufacturers that will be they will definitely show you different products for different people that are being sold by different types of suppliers. Some are manufacturers, some are traders, some are middlemen, etc. So let's talk about, so when you're shipping, you need to understand who your supplier is. That's the first question, because like I said, we need a reliable supplier. So you need to know who your supplier is. How long have they been in business? We usually recommend that you work with a supplier who is like 3 years and above. The reason is they have gained experience over the time. They have made mistakes, and they now know how, they have improved their customer support. They now know how to make sure that things, move fast and give you a better experience. You also need to understand that, are they a manufacturer or are they, a trader? And also, it's good to work sometimes if you are buying things in large quantity. Let's say you have one line of goods that you are selling, to work with a supplier that's selling one line of goods. Let's say it's bed sheet. That's the only thing they focus on. The reason is they are more focused. They've been doing this over time, so they obviously are now experts. So they're doing one thing over and over, so they become experts. And also, you are more likely to get cheaper products because they get cheaper resources because they buy in large quantities. So when you are looking for a supplier, right? We will look at it. I'll share a page soon, looking about things that we look when we are looking for a supplier. We need to look at their name. Does the supplier has, so for every supplier that's listed on Alibaba, there is a particular way that they name their suppliers. They start with the province that that supplier is located, or the company is registered. So you can see Guangzhou. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, but yeah, you can see Guangzhou Trading, Guangzhou XX Trading, limited company. So that's how they name their companies. So that helps you to know the location. And we will talk more about the location a bit. You understand why it's important to understand the location of the supplier that you're working with. And then we also look at the company name. So when it comes to the company name, so the name of the registration, sorry. And then when you look at the company name itself, under the company name, you will find that they also list the kind of products, what they call the main products. So this company, what do they focus on? Some of them, it could be just plastics, maybe they make plastic cups, anything plastic. That's where they specialize in. So when you look at the page for each supplier, that's the first thing that you have to check. What do they focus on? And then you can also check, are they a trading company? From the name you can see, are they a trading company? Are they a manufacturing company? If they're manufacturing, what kind of a manufacturer are they? So these are some of the things that you look at, because what we are trying to do is to be able to eliminate good suppliers and bad suppliers. All right, so let's look at this. This is a screenshot I took from Alibaba. So you can see Guangdong, that's correct. Guangdong, that's the name of a province in China. And then this is the name of the company, right? So from what I was showing you from the previous slide, this is the first thing we look at the name. You need to know the location, which is important. After that, we need to understand how long have they been operating. So 13 years, that means they know what they're doing. They have perfected their craft. They are now producing high quality products. And then we also look at the main category. Now this company, they are a coffee machine. They make coffee machines, and all these things that have to do with coffee. And now you can now look, they are verified. This is also very important. When you're working on Alibaba, always work with suppliers that are verified. The ones that are verified, when you have issues with them, you might not be able to get your money. So make sure that the supplier you're working with is verified. And then you can see the kind of manufacturer they are. They're a custom manufacturer, which we'll talk about in the next slides. And now they even add things like, where are they ranked? So they are the best seller when it comes to espresso machines. They are ranked number 4. And then the OEM brands, this simply means that they make actually products that companies probably, that they sell coffee machines, well-known brands buy from them. So this is a very good company. And then the next thing you can look at is reviews as well. But these ones are the major ones, because reviews, sometimes people buy people to review goods. So these things give you a better background of which kind of supplier you're working with. I'm just going to check. Okay, I was just checking the Q&A just in case someone has asked a burning question about where I am, but we will have a session for that. Oh, I want to close this. Okay. Now that we understand, we have a background of who we are talking about, what the supplier is, let's now look at different types of manufacturers. Remember, we want to work with manufacturers most times because they are the ones that are producing the products. So it's sometimes you want to buy directly from the manufacturer. So we have custom manufacturers. We have multi-specialty suppliers or manufacturers, they call them suppliers, brand holders, and contract manufacturers. For custom manufacturers, these are suppliers that focus on producing goods and they can do high customization, and they specialize in that. So sometimes if you need something to be specific, or you want to add something to a product that already exists, these are the kind of suppliers you can choose to work with, and they'll be able to deliver what you want. Some people even have particular products they want to bring to market, and you don't have the machinery and other things. You can also, reach out to manufacturers like this. As long as it's in their field, they can try and help you come up with that particular thing that you're trying to get. And then we have multi-specialty suppliers. These are also like verified middlemen, and then they have low minimum. They allow you to buy stuff with low minimum quantity. So if you have, you're just starting your business and you want to try out, maybe it could be crop tops, want to try out if they are good, you can work with multi-specialty suppliers because they have a lower amount of quantity they allow you to buy. Remember what I showed you in the past. So every supplier has a minimum quantity of products that you buy, or because it's a wholesale platform. And then this also, they have multi-categories. So sometimes it's good to work with them as well if you're starting, or if you want a wide variety of goods from just one supplier. They have different categories because most times they're getting them from manufacturers. And then we have brand holders. As the name says, they are buying from established brands, and then they also they resell on their markets. And then we have contract manufacturers. They offer business additional value. So if you want to package your goods and also want to just customize, they can help you with that. Just see about the suppliers. You can read more online. If you just type of suppliers on Alibaba, you can get more details. Now let's talk about trade assurance. Now that we know the supplier we need, when you are buying, you also need to check, is this supplier verified? Do they have a trade assurance? So trade assurance, it just helps. These are like suppliers that accept payments directly through Alibaba order protection. So Alibaba works hard to protect the buyers. So they have this Alibaba order protection. So when you're buying goods, and you're about to check out, if the company has a trade assurance, it means Alibaba will hold this money in the escrow. And then once the transaction and everything has been verified and you have gotten your goods, and then they can release that. That might not really work for us in Africa because it takes a longer time to get goods here. But for people in other countries like US, where logistics is more like flexible, within a week or 2 weeks, they can get the goods. That's good. But for us, it takes time. But either way, if there's any issue, Alibaba can chip in and try and help you. So it's always also advisable to work with companies that have trade assurance, just in case there are issues and you need to get a refund. This can help you. So just a recap about the supplier. We look, is the supplier verified? Do they have a trade assurance? Do they have great reviews? And where are they located? About reviews, one thing you have to look at when you're checking reviews is that sometimes one person can buy multiple products and give review for all of them. So you may think a lot of people have reviewed because they will show us different reviews. So you have to check that the reviews you're reading are coming from different people, not one person. So that's another thing you'd have to check when it comes to reviews. I think we spoke about this already. And then let's talk about the general rule about your supplier's location. So we are talking about the location. There are suppliers that are in the CBD. Usually these are middlemen. And you may want to avoid working with middlemen if you're like an established business and you want to buy products that are cheap. So you may want to, I can see a couple of people have raised their hands. Please, I'll take all the questions at the end because the presentation is quite long. So just note down your question and then we can revisit that when I'm doing Q&A at the end. Okay. So anyway, I was talking about the suppliers in the CBD. They are usually middlemen. And then we have suppliers who are in industrial area. Those are the ones you may want to work with. And then in China, they have like 5 major coastal provinces, right? I will not mention these names, guys. I don't know how to mention them. And then, but in this, you may want to work with suppliers who are in the coastal areas, and usually the industries are in the coastal provinces. This is where, the reason is because you would want to ship your goods mostly through sea because it's cheaper than air. So if you're working with suppliers that are at the coastal area, the delivery cost from the supplier's place to the place, to the port is cheaper, or to the place where your shipping agent is cheaper if they are in the same city. So it's best to buy goods from the coastal area where you know maybe your shipping agent also is there in that particular place, so that you cut costs when you are buying goods within China. It can be very expensive because China is a big country. It can be very expensive to move goods from one end to another. So just before you even get to put them on the sea, you are already spending a lot of money just to move goods. So you'd want to avoid things like that. So make sure that the coastal area, the supplier is the coastal area, and the agent is in this coastal area, and they are all in the same place. Like if it's you, everybody is in you. So you want to make sure that's the case. Sorry, just a moment. Someone keeps calling my phone. Put it on silent. Okay. So you want to make sure that that's the case. And I usually negotiate if my agent and my supplier in the same area. I make sure that I don't pay for delivery. I always try to not pay for delivery, or just negotiate with the supplier to reduce the cost for delivery, because they are all in the same area. Okay. Now, let's talk about actually the supplier and buying when you want to buy products. So you always have to choose quality over quantity. So when we talk about buying things from China, people think you're buying things that are poor quality. But what most of us don't know, that all the goods we have now, Super Crest, and all these things, here in Africa, or most African countries, nobody really checks if those products are coming from that particular company. People do customization of the exact same product, so it's even hard to tell. So, but even if you do that, you want to make sure that the quality matches that, right? The quality matches of that brand that you're working with. So always make sure that you go for quality products instead of quantity if you want your business to last, because your reputation is on the line. And then also, you always choose, when you're on the platform, go with the manufacturer over products. And when you're also buying goods, negotiate. So their price is there that they've listed. Don't take it as it is. Try and negotiate with the supplier, negotiate the price, negotiate the minimum order quantity. So sometimes they may say, we are starting with 50. You can negotiate to 30, and tell them that we'll talk about things that you can tell them to negotiate. And then sometimes also, if you're not sure, or you're still trying to understand this supplier, there's an extra step you can take. You can ask them, when they tell you, I'm a supplier, and we have a factory, you can ask for a factory tour, so they can show you. It can be a virtual. They can just tell them, in an hour, I would like to have a factory tour with you. Give them like a short time, so that if someone is not really a manufacturer, they won't have enough time to put those things together, so they can show you things, people actually making those products. And then you always, when you're dealing with suppliers as well, you need to check your time zone against theirs. If you are texting them by time that they are sleeping, they are more likely not to respond. So you also need to always make sure that you check that as well. And one thing that happens is holidays in China. There are holidays, government regulations. Sometimes they can have an epidemic in a particular province and things are not moving. So You always have to be aware of these things when you are working with Chinese suppliers. The reason is it helps you to, to plan well. If you know there's a holiday, you may have to buy your goods after the holiday or before the holiday. Otherwise, you have to wait for a long time to get your stuff. And then this is hard to plan for, but sometimes it happens, so it can delay your shipment. Now, let's look at how you can search for a product on Alibaba. There are two ways. You can use this. That's an image. If you click here, let's say you have a product, you have an image of a product, you can just search using that, or you can type directly. You can type for the product. Here allows you to select between products and manufacturer. So you can always select manufacturer. And here you can filter, you want someone with a trade assurance. You can have a lot of feature. It allows you to filter different things. So you can filter the kind of supplies you want. Like that's like a second filter, the kind you want them to be verified. They should have trade assurance. They should have maybe some certifications to show that they are good at this. So you can use all that to filter out reliable suppliers, to find good suppliers from Alibaba. So I just spoke more. So you see, you can also filter. Sometimes it will be showing here, depending on what you're using, your laptop or your phone. You can just filter to get the kind of suppliers that you want. So this is how a company page looks like. So when you're on the platform, you usually, when you go there, you can see visit store is usually here. And then when you click on visit store, you can see the whole page that shows the company. So this is like the company, show you the home, the products they have. You can explore their profile. If you want to read further about the company, you can also explore using the profile. And other promotions that they may have in videos. So this just helps you to, this like how the page looks like and all the reviews they have get from different products. So there's a lot of information, but we focused on this at the beginning of this. These are things you have to look. You see the name is here. They are verified, which is important. They're a custom manufacturer. That's a green flag. 13 years, that's awesome. So all these things and the main category. I see your hands. Please just write down your question. I want to go over this, then we can take all the questions at the end of this. That would make it more easy. Okay, so just write down your question. We'll just revise it if it's not answered by the end of this presentation. And then now the other thing, so at the bottom of the page of the company profile, you can also see the kind of certifications they have. So if you are, some companies, they have ISO 9000, some they have, what's it called, different kind of certifications. Some are for environment. You could read more about that depending on what you're trying to focus on and the revenue they have made over the time. So that's how the company page looks like. So what I do when I'm looking for suppliers, sometimes I just add a couple of suppliers on my favorites. So let's say I'm looking for a particular product and maybe I can go through like 5 suppliers that I can go through a lot of suppliers and maybe find 5 that I'm like, oh, these are the best. So I can add them to my favorite and then later just visit that page, visit there and just finally talk to the supplier that I want. So you can find favorite group when you go to account, then favorites, you can just find it there. If you want to find all the favorites that you have put aside. And then once you do that, you can chat with the suppliers. So there's always, you see here. So when you go through the page, which maybe we can do if you have extra time at the end of the call, you will see contact us. You can contact them. There's also an option for chat with us. So you can chat with the supplier. Once you chat with them, you can tell them, you know, who you are. If you have your business, always make it look professional, even though you're starting, you know, always make it look professional. We are X company and we are into this and this. We want to see if we can work with you. Looking for kitchen furniture. So once you present yourself nicely and you can tell them, these are the products I've seen that I'm interested in. That supplier can also like tell you that, oh, you know, these are the prices, and then you can start your negotiation with them. Now, when it comes to negotiation and communication with suppliers, it's something that we need to talk about. There's something that we need to discuss. So when it comes to prices, people sometimes have a feeling that things are so cheap in China, which they are, but it also depends with the quality. So China gives you everything that you need. If you have good, like, if you want high quality, you would also realize with the amount you're paying that this product is high quality. If you also want low quality, you get it. So it's really up to you. So let's say there's a product that's listed for $10, and then you are negotiating for price with the supplier. What you always have to do is you can't come and say, I want to buy this product for $2 when it's listed for $10. It sounds like you are not respecting this manufacturer's business. When you're negotiating with someone, you're not trying to take advantage of them, you know. So make sure when you're negotiating with them, because when you're negotiating with them, you suggest prices that make sense. Okay, can I get it for $8? Can I get it for $7? But don't go like far, and because for them it shows that you don't understand business, that they had to use raw materials and all these things to put the product. So make sure you don't go to the extreme when it comes to price. Same with minimum order quantity as well. You can negotiate it, but don't go to the extreme. And then you can also ask the supplier about the product specifications. You need to understand what you're buying, you know. Ask them all the questions you have about the product. Make sure you understand, you specify the colors, because when you're buying from them and you don't specify your product specifications, they'll give you the worst color. No one will buy. So make sure you always tell them what you want, because it's your money. The other thing, after you guys have done all the negotiation and you have agreed that you're buying this product, one thing you have to do is to ask them, how long does it take you to produce my order? Sometimes some suppliers, they take forever to produce that, or they have large quantities they are working on. So you always need to ask them that, so that you have an expectation to hold them accountable with, oh, you know, you said in a week it will be done. Where am I good? So that is very important. I had one supplier that I I never asked when I was still learning, and this guy took a whole month to just make my products, and it was so frustrating. And by that time, you'd have already paid for the goods. So they're holding your money for a whole month. Then I would have to wait for 2 months for the goods to arrive in Ghana by sea. So things like that, you have to be very careful about that. You can also, the other thing you do before you make a payment to a supplier, you need to discuss the delivery cost within China. So yeah, you guys have agreed on the price for the goods, fine. But how much does it cost to move goods from your warehouse to the place, or to the port, or to the place where the shipping agent has a warehouse? How much does that cost? We'll talk more about the shipping agent in a moment. So you need to ask them, is it free? Like I said, if my shipping agent and the supplier are in the same city, I always try to negotiate for free delivery, because most of them, they have trucks that they use to move stuff. If they don't get a free delivery, they will reduce the price for me. So it's always good to make sure that you have these two together to cut costs. And also, when it comes to shipping, which we'll talk about, if you have a shipping agent, this is also your moment to let them know that, you know what, I have a shipping agent who can bring the stuff, and this is their address, and you share the address with them. Some suppliers, they can do delivery to different countries as well. You can ask them, but it could be expensive. So I always recommend using shipping agent. we'll talk more about shipping agent in the future. So like I said, and then the other thing when it comes to communication is feel free to have, have audio, video calls with them, but make sure, it's quite intrusive to just call someone on a video call. Make sure you also ask permission. Can I call you? Can we have a video? Chinese like to say, my friend, when you're talking to them. It's also good. You can also vibe with that and call them my friend, call them with their name. Just make them feel like you also know them, when you're dealing with them. Just simple business etiquette. And then the other thing with chats, when I'm talking with them, if like you're talking to you're buying goods for a lot of people, you may want to also use, when you go to chats, you can pin your chats, you can label your chats, you can create codes. That's if you're doing it on a very like commercial level. But yeah, let's talk about negotiation. Right. The negotiation that I was talking about, please, when you're talking to suppliers, don't tell them that, oh, I'm just trying out, or I don't have enough, like a lot of capital. Just don't say things like that when you're negotiating with them about the minimum order quantity, MOQ. Have better ways to talk about it. You can tell them that you want to know the quality of their goods before you commit a lot of money, even though probably you don't have that kind of money they are thinking you have. But it's also an opportunity for you to just test their products and see, like, are they really good products before you commit a lot of money into that. So when you're starting working with the new supplier, don't buy a lot of goods, buy few, get to know the quality of the products before you commit a lot of money, because that could be a lot of expenses. And then also you can also talk about we also encourage you to buy like, a product that you would test before you buy a lot of products. So you could buy few products or one or two, which sometimes, depending, we are in Africa, it could be difficult. So you could buy a few cup of products, and then that gives you a chance to test the packaging, And also, one thing when it comes to MOQ, if the supplier is being very difficult, they don't want to reduce the MOQ, you can look for them or look for their competitors on 1688 if you have time, and then use that as a benchmark. So you can tell them, it's fine, but I noticed that you also have a page on 1688 and you're selling your goods, your minimum order quantity is low there. So I don't understand why this is high. Could you reduce it for me? So those are other tips that you can use to just reduce the minimum order quantity. Okay, we have already spoken about this. You can also talk about the Forex laws sometimes. Like, I have to change this money to USD and I'm losing money. These are just ways to negotiate and make sure that the supplier reduces the price for you. Every, cent count when it comes to this. So it helps. I really spoke about the price already, so I'm just skipping this. So the other thing we need to talk about is the costs have to be transparent with the supplier. Before you make a payment, make sure they list it down. Cost of the goods, X number of goods times this price. Let them list it out for you. Shipping fee, this. Otherwise, some people also are not honest. They'll put some hidden costs that you later realize. So make sure that you always get that. Let everything be listed out. And then by that time, they also ask you delivery fee. Local delivery fee within China is X amount. Make sure that is there. And I'll talk about the shipping agent. Basically, is the person that would bring your goods to Ghana or Kenya, wherever you are. And these shipping agents are in your country most of the times, or you can find them on Alibaba, right? And when you find one shipping agent that will bring your stuff, they have a warehouse in China. They could be in Guangzhou or they could be in Yiwu. So if I know that my shipping agent is in Guangzhou, I always look for suppliers that are in Guangzhou. And then when I get a shipping agent, I ask them, they will give me a shipping mark or a shipping address that includes a shipping mark. A shipping mark is simply a unique mark that helps them to identify that goods that come with this mark belongs to Primrose. So shipping marks just helps to identify your goods. So when you get a shipping agent and you guys have agreed, they will give you that. So you get that from your shipping agent and you don't have to worry about that. So when you finalize everything with your supplier, you also have to share with them the shipping address and the shipping mark. And then you can make your payment. These are the ways you can make payment on Alibaba. You have the Visa, MasterCard, GPay, wire transfer, and PayPal, depending on where you are. These are the options that you have to make payments. There are people that do shipping and they pay other people to pay for them using Alipay. Good for you, but these people, they charge you 1% to 4% just to make payment for you, and people get scammed. Don't ever do that. It's best you open a bank account and you make your payment by yourself than to give someone so much money. So they charge you 4% of the total cost of the goods you're buying, which is so expensive. Don't ever do that. It's best to just make payment by yourself using these options they give you on the platform. I have so many final tips. Yeah, but I think we have, let's talk about, I think I'll just talk about the last one because we have talked about this. So the final tip I'll give you before purchasing is that you need to also know about the seasons. There are different seasons. We have Valentine's season coming. Right now, people are shipping for Valentine. So people started shipping for Christmas in August, September. They started shipping because if you are going to use sea, you need 2 to 3 months. Sometimes in a bad time, 4 months, but 2 to 3 months, usually depending on, your country and the regulation. So you need to plan ahead of time that I want to sell this during this time. So right now people are shipping for Valentine. So this is the time to buy things for 14th February going on. So you have to plan ahead of time. Now let's just talk more about the shipping itself. Now you have paid your goods and then the supplier. So when you have paid for your goods and the supplier has now shipped the goods. So one thing my shipping agent always asks us to do, which is also a good practice, is when you tell your manufacturer or your supplier that please send pictures that shows my shipping mark of, pictures of your goods when they have packed it and where the shipping mark is. So they take a picture of it. That sometimes help when there are issues in terms of, there can be issues when your goods arrive here, they're trying to identify them. Those pictures can be useful. So those things happen sometimes, depending on how organized your shipping agent is. Sometimes you may need those pictures to be able to find your goods or if there are any issues. So you need to make sure that happens. And then when your supplier or your manufacturer sends goods, they'll give you a tracking number. They'll give you a tracking number. You share that tracking number with your shipping agent. And you keep asking them, have you received the goods in your warehouse in China? Have you received it? It's good to get that confirmation. And then you can also let your supplier know that they have received it. And once your shipping agent has received those goods, your supplier has done their part. So they have actually done their part. They no longer owe you anything, right? Now everything, your goods are now in charge. Like the shipping agent is now in charge of everything. Now when you want to ship goods, you could use DHL, you could use other international logistics companies. I recommend using shipping agents because they are cheap. They work with, they work with people in China, people with their ships. I mean, they have better deals they get for being able to fill a container fast. So those kind of things. So it's best to work with a shipping agent. Just talk about shipping agents. I think it's in the next slide. So these are some of the technology about, shipping. You could do it by sea, you could do it by air. Air, unless your products are very light, or maybe in some countries, I know Nigeria, most people ship by air. It's good if you can, because maybe that's like when people are selling in that country, the price matches with that. But shipping with sea is like 10-20 times cheaper. So we always recommend shipping by sea. It takes time, but it helps you to get meaningful profits out of your goods. So it requires some patience. And then we have expected delivery time. This is the time, of course, between when you ship your goods and when they get to the final destination. And then there's some shipping technology like delivery at point. So like I was saying, usually delivery at point means this buyer is responsible for customs, for clearance of everything. So that means if you are not using a shipping agent, and maybe you're working with the supplier or a manufacturer that actually ship to your country, there are two, you can either use DAP or DDP, So when it's DAP, delivery at point, it means that you are the one who is going to be responsible for clearing, for custom clearance when the goods get to your end. So you have to work with your customs, the people at the customs to clear your goods. And then when it comes to delivery, duty paid, that one, the seller makes sure that the goods, they clear the goods and make sure the goods get to you, and they are responsible for anything. If anything happens, they're supposed to pay you. So usually these are some of the things you just have to know, just in case you don't want to use a shipping agent. Usually shipping agents, they take maximum obligation. So it's also something you can also have a discussion. If you want to take it, make it more formal, just sign a contract with them, let them know, like, I need you to sign here that you are responsible for my goods. Once you say you have received them from China, you are responsible. If after a certain amount of time, I've not received them, you're supposed to pay me. It's good to have contracts just in case things go south, especially if you are shipping things that are of high value. And then, I mean, you can Google more about Incoterms to just understand the shipping technology. So where do you find shipping agents? Now we know where to find reliable suppliers. So where do you find shipping agents? On Alibaba. So if you go again on Alibaba and you search same place, if you search like shipping, shipping agent to, I don't know, Ghana, shipping agent to Kenya or to Rwanda, you can find a couple of them there. You can also work with DHL, but it's quite expensive. You can also work with, but for me, I've realized that I use Instagram to my advantage. So Instagram, what they do is I search for something and they start giving me ads for that. So that's what I do. If I'm looking for a new shipping agent, I just search for shipping agents. Whichever shipping agent I find, I will like all their pictures. And then I wait within 3-4 days. That's the only thing I'll be getting the whole week. Ads about shipping agents. And then I can now just go through their page, see if they are legit. Sometimes it's also important to visit their place because you can't just trust people, with a lot of high value goods. Visit their place, ask them, when is your next shipment coming? They will tell you that day when the shipment arrives, people will be coming to collect their goods. Go there, talk to the people. How is the experience like? They will tell you that this agent is a terrible agent. These goods, I've been waiting for them for 6 months. I remember my first time when I was still learning, I waited for my goods for 12 months. That's how terrible it was. I worked with a bad shipping agent and I had to wait for 12 months to get those goods, which was so terrible. So you can go and talk to people and get to understand that. You can also do a Google search, but I really recommend just starting from Instagram and then you go and talk to them. Then you can also do, when it comes to shipping agents, it's the same thing. The same way you find suppliers, you need to make sure they are verified, and they have also good reviews, just like how we're doing background on suppliers. Now, how many slides are we left with? Yeah, we're almost done because I want to take questions. Okay. So I think we have already talked about how the shipping agent is very like responsible. We have talked about, taking pictures and videos from the supplier before they send them out. And yeah, this is really it about when it comes to shipping agents. So some shipping agents, they allow you to sometimes they ask you to pay 70% of the amount, like the shipping fee. It really depends. Some, they don't ask you for anything. So before they get your goods, you have to pay like 70%. And some of them, they also have minimum order quantity they need you to have. So when it comes to shipping agents, we're talking about CMB. So like they measure products based on height, width, length. My math is failing me. But yeah, like it's width, height, length, and yeah, anyway, I've forgotten that. But anyway, you can read more about CBM. So it's like you have 1 CBM, 2 CBM, 3 CBM. Some of them, they have a minimum CBM that you have to do that. You can actually calculate the CBM. You can ask your supplier to calculate that for you before your goods are shipped, so that your shipping agent doesn't cheat you if you're like me struggling with the math. So you can ask your shipping agent to do it, like they can calculate for you and tell you, oh, your goods is this amount of CBM. So that when your supplier get them, they will also tell you that that's the same amount of CBM. If it's different, you can ask them to measure. And there are so many online tools to help you calculate that CBM online. So that's how you get suppliers, how you get reliable suppliers and reliable shipping agent from China. In nutshell, in 1 hour. If you want a more detailed one-on-one session with me to teach you or to take you through how to do that, or your first shipping, you can always contact us at soswellconsulting.com, and we'll help you make your first 2 or 3 shipping. You ship your stuff to wherever you are. And of course, customs differs with wherever you are. It differs. So here, like in Ghana, it's best for you to work with the shipping agent because you really don't want that headache on your plate. So I will be opening the Q&A and just read all the questions that are there. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the Q&A. And I will be answering those questions. All right. Thank you everyone for listening. So I'm going through the questions now, then we can answer that. First question, is it possible we get the link to the audio? So we will record this. This has been recorded. So yes, I think you have access to read. Yes. And then, okay, someone was asking if they can record the screen. It's already, we're already done. And then I've said Alibaba before with thoughts of making extra cash. However, I'm always worried about the trade tariffs and shipping. How do you deal with import charges? Have a shipping agent, you don't have anything to worry about. So shipping agent, just to talk more because of this question, the shipping agent, they will tell you, so like, also that can vary with the countries, by the way, because I know in Zimbabwe, they do it differently. In Ghana, they'll tell you they are charging $200 per CBM. That includes the cost of paying the customs, everything, getting the goods from China to here. So I don't need to know how much they pay the customs. It's not my business. All I need to know is on 6th January, I'm going to get my goods from this, from my agent, and this is the amount I'm paying. So they'll tell me, and then usually when you get there, they'll give you your rate, which my shipping agent always gives me a rate that is $1 extra. But anyway, I also transfer the cost to the customer. That's how it is. So yeah, that's the beauty of working with shipping agents. You don't need to think about customs. You don't need to even know where the office is. They deal with that. Most people are asking for the recording. What's the minimum investment for an import? Honestly, I don't know how to answer this because it depends with the category of products you want to venture into, right? If you're going to sell furniture, you definitely need more income, more money. If you're going to sell clothes, it's going to be less. If you're going to sell plastic cups, it's going to be less. So it's really up to you. What do you want to sell? You know, so it's really up to you. And it's good to start small, especially, just start small, get to see if there's a market there, and also if the quality of the product the supplier is giving you matches what you want. How do we get an agent? I think we have answered that. Check your Instagram, check Alibaba. You will find them. Okay, people are asking for recording. Recording. Okay. Yes, so I've shared my contacts here. You can contact me there. Do you ship to Nigeria? No, I don't ship to Nigeria. I don't ship for anyone. I'm not a shipping agent. But if you're shipping to Nigeria, there's this platform. There's this shipping agent I once used. When I remember the name, I'll share with you. Yeah, Prisvik Mall. They should pay me for mentioning them. So Prisvik Mall, I think .com. Check it out. Check it out. If you want to ship to Nigeria, they could be helpful. They have a platform. So yes, Rogers, please contact me on WhatsApp. Slides again. What's the minimum amount? Okay, so I'll stop taking questions. It's in the next 20 minutes. So if you have any questions, this is the time. Just type it. I'm going through them. What's the minimum amount one can start the business with? Like I said, it really depends on you. When there is a damaged good in the course of your delivery, who is responsible? Who is going to bear the loss? That's a good question, right? When there's a damage and you notice it and you're still at the premises of your shipping agent where you're picking your goods, they are responsible for it, right? Remember, like I said, I prefer working with contracts. So make your shipping agent sign that, if goods are damaged on the way, they are responsible. Yes, they are. They know they are responsible, but sometimes they take advantage because we don't know the laws. So it's good to have a contract. Let them sign something, and that will help you to just make sure that everybody knows who is responsible for what. What kind of taxes should I expect to pay on top of buying goods from China? Like I said, if you're using a shipping agent, you don't need to even learn about those taxes. They'll take care of everything and you get your goods. When you're done, whatever they charge you, add it to the goods and you're good to go, and add your profits to that. Is there a way to do business with zero capital? Yes, please. Tendo Technologies. Go to Tendo.app. If you're in Nigeria or if you're in Ghana, you can start a business with zero capital. Oh, okay. I think I went back a bit. Can I recommend good shipping agents? I don't know where you are based to recommend, so because it really depends with where you are. But I think if you follow what I mentioned, you'll be able to find good shipping agents in your country or that ships to your country. Can shipping agents buy for me? So the purpose of this is for you to be able to buy stuff yourself. When people are buying for you, they charge you 1%, 2%, or 4% of the total cost just for buying for you. So you can even find buying agents on Alibaba, people that can buy for you. But honestly, I don't see the need. You can do it by yourself. And like I said, if you need an extra session to be able to do this, for me to walk you through this, feel free to reach out to me, although that is not free. Yeah. And then can you please share some of your shipping agents with us? I don't know where you are, so it might not be helpful because the one I have is in Ghana. And honestly, about shipping agents, I think one more thing, you need to have multiple shipping agents. So if you're now like into business, don't have one shipping agent. They can really mess up. Sometimes it's beyond them. I understand things go the other way, but you just need to be careful with that. Make sure you have multiple shipping agents so that you will not go broke if they take 6 months to deliver your goods. You can have another shipping agent who will bring your goods. Sometimes things happen. Which shipping agents are more effective? I don't know how to answer that. You will learn, like if you go to their places, once you find a list of them in your country, visit their places, talk to their clients, you will know who is effective. Okay, still checking time. We have 10 more minutes to answer questions. Can you recommend a few in Ghana? Huh. All right, someone has asked in Ghana. I've used these companies, but recently too, they have not been doing well. So I would recommend you do your own research. Yeah. So that you not say I said this person is effective. Do your own research. Which coastal towns are in China by name? So it's easy to know them. Uh, usually Guangzhou. The rest you can actually just say coastal towns in China. You will find the answer online. About selling your shipping, about selling your shipped goods to your customers. Do you add charges to both the product and the shipping fee or just shipping fee? All the costs you incur from the cost of the product, shipping fee. If I used my Ghana card, not Ghana card, if I use my bank card that is in CDs or has Ghanaian money, and then I had to change that to dollars, whichever rate they give me, like all the cost, I take note of every cost. I include it. The cost for delivery from the supplier to the port, I add it. The cost for going to meet my shipping agent to collect my goods, I add it. The cost to come back with the goods, if I get a lorry, I add it to that. And the cost for my labor as well, I add that. Sometimes, so let's say if the dollar rate is at 12 cedis, 1 is to 12 cedis, sometimes I even push it to 13 cedis just to cater for the, inflation, especially that time when we had a time in Ghana when the cedi was just fluctuating. So I had to take care of things like that because by the time my goods will be manufactured and all those things, it will be gone. Can you spell Crisvic? It's what you mentioned, Crisvic. That's it. That's it. Just check it, Crisvic. Crisvicmall.com. You'll find it online. The way you wrote it. Why are you asking me to spell it though? Do you who do you contact first the supplier or the shipping agent? That's a good question. You contact your shipping agent first. You need to find a shipping agent first before you find the supplier. First of all, you need to know what you want to sell. Then find a shipping agent first, because you will need, remember that you need to give your supplier an address to send goods within China. So that's your shipping agent address you give them. So your shipping agent has an address in China. So there's that. So you contact your shipping agent first. So now I have my shipping agent address. I don't even need to let them know that I just share with my supplier, and then they'll send the goods there. That's when I'll contact my shipping agent. How do we go about creating demand for the shipped products? Is it better we have pre-orders? Honestly, it's really up to you. This is really up to you. I will not answer this directly. It's up to you. I think it's better to have pre-orders. If you can, that would be awesome. But you know, it depends on where you are based. It could be, if you also have a market where when your goods come, they move fast, good for you. Thanks, coach. I'm new to drop shipping. Okay, 5 more minutes and I'll stop reading this. I'll stop reading the questions. Thanks, coach. I'm new to drop shipping. And China is the major target location looking at. I need your advice, how to go about it. I think the advice is what we just talked about. Everything I told you, if you follow that, you'll be fine. What of Kenya and Ethiopia? This is applicable to Kenya. This is applicable to Ethiopia and Somalia. It's applicable. They are shipping agents in your country. If they are not shipping agents, you can work with DHL. DHL ships anywhere, I think, within the country. But they are shipping agents. Even airlines, if you go to their offices and tell them you want to ship some goods, they can, you know, direct you to people. Airlines ship stuff as well. Like there's airlines that ship goods, move goods from one place to another. There's also another platform, but they're shipping agents. What's my consultation service for a walkthrough? Okay, that's 300 CDs. That is in Ghanaian CDs, so you can convert that. I don't charge a lot, actually. Let me check for you. 300 CDs. That's like $25 for consultation fee for that. I'm not going to answer this. I know about Alibaba, so I can talk about Alibaba. I don't know much about Dubai. My WhatsApp number is here. $25. Okay. I think we are. Somebody asked if it's easy to make payment with Wise. Yes, I make payment with Wise. It's easy for me. So that works for me. So yes, I think we are almost done with. We have 2 more minutes. Someone said my question has not been answered. I wish you had also written your question when you said your question has not been answered, because I don't know which question is that. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. This has been very helpful. Those that want me to put my details again, I will just drop it in the chat. This is my WhatsApp number. Please don't call me, just WhatsApp. My platform is sourcewellconsulting.com. You can also book your session there, sourcewellconsulting.com. Yeah. All right. Angela, people are asking how they access the recording. Would you like to speak about that?
So whoever registered for the event will receive the recording when it's ready. A link will be shared after it's edited and posted.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. This has been great. I think I will just let Ella talk. There are just 4 hands that are up right now, so just allow you guys to talk. Please, I've already noted the people that are trying to talk. Please, you have 30 seconds because I don't want us to run out of time. So, Temiola, please, you can speak. Okay. I can't hear from her. Ella G, would you like to ask your question?
Thanks, Prim, and hi from Kenya.
Hi. Okay, you're welcome. I think I'm left with Yusuf. Please.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, madam. Thank you, first of all. By the way,
You're
what I
welcome.
wanted, may I get the PowerPoint? For me, recording might not be helpful. I don't watch, but I read.
I know, unfortunately, I can't share the PowerPoint because that's what I use for business. I'll be out of business. Sorry. But we can have a one-on-one together, which is a paid one. I think there's just 2 more hands. Okay, I will just stick to this. Thank you, everyone. This has been awesome. I really appreciate that you guys stayed on the call. I hope this has been helpful. Feel free, like I said, to reach out to me at info@sourcewellconsulting.com or my number I've shared with you, or you can also just find me, on WhatsApp. So that's it. Have a good day, everyone.
Beyond the skies, you and I, we're breaking bounds on